watching SKST Radio.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, one-on-one with Kami Grayson and friends. And I have a new friend, Mr. Neil McCay. Hey!
Hello.
Welcome
How you doing?
to the show.
Thanks.
Woo! I'm so happy to have you here.
No, thanks for having me.
Movie, and I am excited for you to tell people about it. And I know it came out last month, but we're still promoting it. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, Neil, so tell people who you are and how you got started.
So my name's Neil McCay. I'm a filmmaker out in the Austin, Texas area. My little story is I saw Gremlins when I was a kid, loved monsters and movies, and said to my mother, like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. And it just kind of never changed, like the person that makes the movies. And here I am. So yeah, that's, I guess, a little bit about me.
Oh, wow.
So
how long have you been doing movies?
On and off since I was about, I don't know, I think like 19 or 20. Well, I guess I kind of started, if there was a high school project where they allowed you to do like videotape, I had a friend that had a camcorder, so I would always bug him to be like, hey, can we record some stuff? And then I'd make like a presentation out of that. So I guess that kind of counts as movie making, but seriously, probably picked it up in college. And then in my 20s, I kind of did it. And then I had sort of a hiatus in my 30s, and now I'm just kind of, this is like my first thing back in a while.
Okay.
So
Like
I say on and off. What's that?
You look like you should be acting.
Yeah, so I've got that sometimes, maybe. Yeah. Well, I have to be an actor to know what they go through to do the directing. So I've taken like acting classes, and I've done some acting just to kind of, I don't know. It's like if you play a sport, if you're coaching a sport, you probably would be good to play the sport before you start telling people how to play it, you know? So.
Okay. So this is your first film?
No, actually. So I had 2 feature films before this. This is my first one in like a while, like 12 years or something like that. So it kind of feels like a first film in a way, because it's been a while. But I did a feature in 2002 and 2006. And then a bunch of projects like around that time frame.
So is it any that I would recognize?
Probably not. If you go to my IMDb page, they're on there, but they're not really released. Back then, you couldn't really get on platforms like whatever, like Amazon or Netflix. I mean, that stuff didn't even exist back then. So it was kind of like, you know, DVD at the Blockbuster or something like that. And I mean, so yeah, some of this stuff is like, I have like a YouTube, like some of it's on YouTube, but the 2 features, yeah, they're just kind of like a box of DVDs in my closet somewhere.
Okay, so tell us about the movie.
So the movie's called Trip. It's a psychological horror movie. It's about a mother whose daughter commits suicide, and then she becomes an alcoholic recluse, and she's visited by a therapist who gives her a hallucinogenic tea that will allow her to commune with the dead and talk to her daughter and find out why her daughter killed herself. And then she ends up being haunted by the same things that happened to the daughter before the daughter killed herself. I'm still working on making that not so long-winded.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. Actually, the movie was good. It carried well. It carried well. I really love. It was like a mystery. You didn't know what was real and what was not. You know what I mean? And so I love the way you did that. So it made you wonder the whole entire time. You know, the mother. She looked young. She looked younger than the daughter.
Yeah. I one of the kind of things that I got, which I guess I didn't realize at the time, was that she looked too young to have a daughter that age, which was like, in real life, it kind of worked because they were. I mean, but yeah, she does look young. It's like, wow, you look like you're maybe
look good and young. You know, hey.
I'm sure she likes it. She's like, oh, I look younger than I am, and it's like, but. Yeah, it was supposed to be like she's 36 and the kid is 17. So she had the kid when she was 19, but it doesn't really, they look like they're more like 5 or 8 years apart than like, 17 years apart. So, but
other than that, I mean, that wasn't bad, but I'm just saying that I did notice that. I was like, oh, mother looks really good.
Yeah. Again, I'm sure Akasha loves hearing that, but I didn't really realize that. And since somebody brought it to my attention, I was like, Oh yeah. And the other thing too is Jill's very tall. So it looks weird when the daughter is like, taller than the mother. And it's like, oh yeah, this is kind of, you gotta suspend your disbelief immediately.
Exactly. So how did you go about casting the people that you have for the program?
So Akasha I found actually on YouTube, weirdly enough. I was just kind of looking for, I knew I was eventually going to, do this movie. And then I was kind of just looking up people in the Austin area. And I kind of found her demo reel. And I just kind of hit her up, shot in the dark, and she was still, in the area and still acting and stuff. So, and then, I gave her the script and we kind of talked about that. And that's how she kind of came on board. The other folks were kind of more traditional. Like I had a casting director who, and nowadays it's like, this was even before COVID, but like now you just kind of send somebody, pieces of the script on email, and then they just record themselves and send you video. And then you can just I could just watch the auditions basically, whenever. And then I say, hey, I like this person, let me talk to them about stuff. So it's kind of weird. It's not like this cattle call of like people just, waiting in a room anymore. Now it's just like, so, just send a video and I'll watch it whenever kind of thing. So it's kind of wild.
So was it hard casting for these parts? Because you got some good people in there.
Thank you. Yeah, they were great. I love the cast. It wasn't the one that was a little tricky was it was Peggy's character, Jan, because I don't know. I didn't really know, I guess, what I was looking for until I found her. And the part was actually kind of rewritten. Actually, it was actually the male role. And then I was like, oh, I don't think this is going to work with the whole, this recluse mother, trusting this strange man or something. So I was like, ooh, maybe if it's another therapist, another female, maybe that would be easier to go, yeah, that would make sense. So then there was all these, I kept rewriting the character and stuff like that. So she was kind of the last one I cast, but that was the trickiest one to kind of figure out, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. But everybody else I felt was pretty easy. I knew kind of immediately, you're the one, so.
Explain the little boy's character. What was his background?
Spoiler alert.
Don't spoil it, but it's just, you really don't know where he fits at the beginning.
So he kind of is sprinkled in a little bit and then kind of becomes a bigger part of the story at the end. And I'm trying to figure out how can I say this, but so he's sort of if there's, I don't know, I feel like.
Well, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for anyone.
If there's a yin and there's a yang, there's good and there's evil, and there's these parts of things, and it's what part is he of? Is he part of this evil that's haunting the mother, or is it something else? So there's kind of little things that kind of are dropped in there, okay, what's his deal, and the whole idea was I didn't want his kind of character to come. Okay, what's the purpose of him until the very end?
It's a mystery, so it worked. It worked because it leaves you going, oh my God, well, who was that? What was going on with that? Where did he come from? He wasn't the person, that she, it leaves you kind of what's going on with this?
Yeah, and I definitely didn't want people halfway through, okay, so, or almost at the end, well, all right, what's the hell? What's the deal with him? Why was he there?
I definitely has it out, after a while, but at the beginning, it was kind of wait a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, he's supposed to be kind of a part of her nightmare at the beginning. That's what, and it's oh, he's one of these apparitions that's she's hallucinating all of these nightmarish, kind of things. And he's kind of part of that, or so you think. And then as we go, he's got a bigger role in the whole grand scheme of things. So.
Wow. So did the COVID pandemic affect your filming at all?
Not the filming, because all of the production part was done in late 2019, and then I was all ready to roll and have this thing out in May of 2020, and that's when COVID hit, and then everything just kind of hit a wall, and then it got really slowed down. But I was in post production, so all I really had to worry about was the sound and music and editing. So it wasn't. It would have been a disaster if it was the filming, because then you have oh, now I gotta, we gotta stop filming, or now we have all these safety measures and protocols. So luckily all that was done. So it was just really, the post-production stuff. But yeah, it did really kind of slow things down to a crawl because like my sound guy couldn't get the equipment he needed to do like the post sound effects and stuff. And just everybody just, I don't know, everybody just kind of felt like in that, like, you know, that lull, like at the beginning, like everything, nobody was like in a rush to do anything. It felt like, I mean, myself included, like I was just like, well, I guess, you know, I'm not putting this in a movie theater or anything like anytime soon. So, but yeah, it did kind of slow things down a little bit because this is supposed to be done in May of 2020, and now it's like June of 2022, and it's like finally out there.
Well, you know, you did a great job with the movie, and
Thank
so
you.
I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoyed the movie, and I'm a horror buff, so that movie was kind of like, okay, you know, it left me
All right.
wanting to finish it to the end. You know, it's kind of like, okay, so what's next? What's next? You know, so you did a great job, Neil. You did a great job.
Thank
I
you so
liked the
much.
casting. You're welcome. You're welcome. I like the casting. Um, what else I was going to ask you about? The house. How did you get the location?
So that's actually my house. So yeah, this is actually the one room in the house where I'm in right now that was not in the movie. This was like the storage office. Like we had my producer was in here syncing up like, you know, the all the digital like video that we got and like the audio and everything. He was like downloading stuff. So this was kind of like the safe room for like, you know, to get away from the madness of film production. But yeah, that was my house, and we just used it because it was like, well, it's free because I live there. So,
Yeah. Well, that was so cool. Beautiful home.
hey, thank you. So yeah, well, that was kind of one of the things we had to. It was a low budget, obviously. So where can we cut costs? And locations are huge, not just for money, like whatever cost it is, but time. I mean, you know, if you have, I don't know, 20 locations, it's like, it's the time you take to move, you know, pick up and move and set up at a new one. Mm-hmm. But if you're already set up, which we were in the house, it's like, as soon as people show up, we can start filming because the lights are already set up and everything like that. So,
well, actually, that was the best way to go. I mean, I seen a movie. It was like one room number, like 1113 or something like that. Anyway, they mostly filmed in that apartment, you know, and it worked. I mean, it worked, especially during the pandemic. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Like there was something that came out right during the pandemic called, I think it was called Host, and it was like about Zoom calls, like and seances or something. And they were just kind of like, well, nobody can do anything, so they would just film their parts and then like edit it together, and nobody had to be in the same room. But everybody was. It was just wild. Like yeah. It's like if you don't have the locations and the people and stuff, it's like get creative and figure out a new way to do something without, you know, spending a lot of time or money.
Right. So what was the biggest obstacle that you came across doing this film?
Time. Just like it's like on my head. Like I think we were very aggressive with the shooting schedule. I mean, I think we did filmed everything in 11 days. And but I mean, you know, every day that you go is more money because you're paying everybody you know, per day and stuff. So that was probably the most difficult. Like I would have rather stretched it out, you know, 3 weeks or something, 21 days as opposed to 11. But that was probably the most difficult thing because you can't. I'm not saying, you know, I had to settle for like, you know, bad stuff, but like I had to kind of move on. Like you kind of, if you wanted to do 5 different camera angles, it's like, nah, you got to do 2 and then move on, get the performance, and then, you know, and I didn't get the coverage that I wanted to, and some of the cool like little camera tricks that we wanted to do, just because we were like, you got to move. So that was probably the biggest hurdle, was getting what we could with the time allotted, and knowing when, okay, that's good enough. We got to move on because we got this, you know, this other thing that we got to set up for. It's going to take time and stuff like that.
So what was your favorite part of doing the movie?
This is going to sound weird, but like when it was over, there was like this sense of relief. Like I was like, okay, now I just can edit, and it's like I don't have the stress of everything. But at the same time, it's like actually seeing those people like every day. Like that was that was my favorite part. So it sounds weird that it's like seeing them every day, and then like when they were gone, it was over. It was like a bittersweet thing. But yeah, it's like yeah, but it's like when you're done, it's like, oh man, it's like I don't know, it just feels like school let out for summer or something, and then you're like, oh, I miss you know my friend at recess or something like that. You know, it's just because we got very tight and we were like a great crew and cast. Like we got along really well and we were goofing off and stuff. And then it's like, it's over. It's like, oh, you know,
that quick.
and it's done. And it's like, okay, you know, but.
Nice. So what's next for you, Neil?
Good question. I'm not sure. I think I know. Right now I'm kind of come up with ideas for the next story, which I think is going to be like, this was kind of a slow burn kind of thing. And I think the next thing is going to be more hit the gas and stay there, kind of sort of, I don't know if I'd call it like an action horror. But I have this kind of, I think it's going to revolve kind of around like, be careful what you wish for. And somebody makes a wish and it doesn't kind of go that well. And it's just like madness ensues and it just keeps building and building and building. But yeah, it would be another feature, I think, for 2023 is hopefully, but I think that's the next thing.
Well, I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, absolutely. We got my buddy David Groves, who's a producer on this. Him and I are partners in 611 Films, and we have a podcast out there. It's on Apple or Spotify or wherever you can get podcasts. And we're in cahoots with like projects. Like he's got a couple projects that he's working on, you know, film projects and things like that. So
wow.
And we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I'm very happy for you. Very excited. Love your work. New fan here. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah. And so just so happy that you were able to join me tonight, and I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
So do you have any words of wisdom to give to someone who's trying to be where you are?
Enjoy the moments. Don't be like, I know things move so fast, but enjoy it and trust your gut and believe in yourself. Don't be afraid to take chances. I think that's just like a life lesson that I realized. The older I get, the more I wish I could go back to my younger self and be like, what the hell are you so scared of? Like, just take a chance. Just go for it. You're young. Like you got your whole life ahead of you.
I love right on the trust your gut thing.
What's that? Oh yeah. I don't know. Like, I think I tend to like second guess myself and I analyze everything. And it's like, usually like whatever your gut or your intuition tells you is usually right. Like if something just feels good, you know, I mean, assuming it's not, you know, harmful to other people or yourself or something like that. But I mean, if it just, then it probably is. And if it smells fishy or just something's not right about that, then that's probably something not right about that. So, you know, obviously get input and if somebody you trust, you know, get feedback and things like that. But like, I think just we as human beings tend to like, you know, second guess ourselves. We're like, oh, am I sure about that? It's like, no, you're probably right. Do it. Go for it.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's pretty good. I appreciate that. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers and listeners are they're always looking for tips, you know, because everybody know I can do that, but they don't realize how much work it's put into doing the job. You know, you think you can run a store, but you don't realize you have to order the supplies and you have to do this and you have to do that. You have to, you know, it's so much that you have to do a film, and people think it's just so easy. I can pull out my phone and I can make a film. No, it's not that easy.
Yeah. No, right. I mean, just like anything else, like being in a band or writing a novel or, you know, anything, like there's a lot to it. And I guess I just always felt like, yeah, just know your craft. So if you want to make a movie, it's like I said, like I'm not an actor, but I would take acting classes to know that part, or I would like learn about cameras and cinematography and stuff, even though I don't have an interest in that, just to be more knowledgeable. So I know like what's going on. Just like if you're in a singer in a band, you should probably know like how to read music or like, you know, what the guitarist is doing or, you know, whatever. So,
well, you have to learn scripts. You have to learn how to block. You have to learn all kinds of different things.
Yeah. And just, but also, you know, you can only control so much. I mean, you can't, I mean, it's like you want to, I don't know, you want people to like your stuff. You want to be successful. You want to make money at it. It's like all you can really control is your craft and what you're doing. And, you know, everything else is like, it's going to happen, you know? So.
Yeah. Interesting. So, well, Neil, I'm not going to hold you. I want to thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for being my new friend.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me know if you ever need us. I think I got your email. I believe you got mine too in the chat from last week.
Yeah, they put us in touch now. So yeah, I
Yeah,
can kind of
yeah.
reach out.
So just stay in contact. I'm here for you. I'll, got new movies coming out. I'm here to help you.
Absolutely. That's great. Thanks again so much. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
It was fun. Thank you. And I'm gonna check out your podcast.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. No, I saw some of yours too, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. You have like such a diverse group of I saw you had like an 11-year-old girl
Oh
or
yes.
something, and then you had like the guy from The Wire, and I was like, oh wow, you have like all these cool it was cool. Like
So
you have
yeah,
this
so
like
if you meet, some of these actors that we know, I can kind of put you in contact too. So just
yeah, no, absolutely, that's so cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
got a lot of people from HBO. We have Darren Henson. He do a lot. A lot of people from Tyler Perry. I sort of know and work with. So yeah, just let me know.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, have a good night and thank you again. You guys go out, look at the movie. It came out last month. What day was it? It came out
It kind of premiered on May 13th, but it's been out kind of
May
in the
13th.
world since May 20th. So
Yeah.
it's like on Tubi and YouTube and Google Play. If you go to terrorfilms.com, or I'm sorry, terrorfilms.net, and then it's like and then there's like a film section, and you'll find Trip. It's one of the ones up top, kind of the newer ones. And there's like all these links on where to get it, and it'll just take you directly to,
Exactly.
and it's
And
supposed
I
to be on
think
Amazon too. So
And I think what YouTube is doing now too, they're taking the interviews that we're doing and they're adding the link right there, so you can go ahead and order the movie or purchase the movie.
yeah,
So
yeah,
YouTube's doing that too. So that's
it
helping
made
out a whole lot.
it. Yeah, I mean, try to make it easy, so it's not complicated. We're like, where am I going? It's like, no, it's right there. Just hit that
Right
button.
there, yeah. So share, subscribe, and like, and go to Neil's page and see what he got going on. Again, go see the movie, buy it, rent it, whatever you need to do. But it's a great movie. If you like suspense and horror, you'll love this one. You'll love this one. All
Awesome.
right. Until next time, right here, SKST Radio. Bye, Neil. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Kami. Bye.